Most pH 2.0. Shout out to all my Kababian in Buhi, Camarines Sir, Bicol. Mabuhay. 12 most beautiful places in the world. 12. Enchanted River of Hinatuan. Surigao del Sur, Philippines. Have you ever experienced a grandiose fascination about a place the moment you saw it with your own eyes? This short stretch of river has this magic to fascinates everyone gazing at its God-given beauty. Hinatuan River was labeled by the locals, the Enchanted River, because of the majestic folklore entails to it. It is believed that spirits are watching over the river, keeping its pristine waters and natural resources away from harm. Especially now that its magnificence is getting a lot of attention all over the world, evolving the tourism industry of the municipality of Hinatuan. Enchanted, one of its majestic kind is that the saltwater inexplicably flows without any visible source. This body of water is where freshwater and saltwater of the Pacific Ocean meet. The Hinatuan River is around 24 meters, 80 feet deep, and quite short, just barely long enough to be considered a river. For such a very short river, Hinatuan River presents a remarkable highlight such as deep blue waters characteristic of the deeper parts of the sea. A mystically clear blue body of water that seems to spring from nowhere. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. Bolivia's Salar de Uyuni is considered one of the most extreme and remarkable vistas in all of South America, if not Earth. Stretching more than 4,050 square miles of the Altiplano, it is the world's largest salt flat, left behind by prehistoric lakes evaporated long ago. Here, a thick crust of salt extends to the horizon, covered by quilted, polygonal patterns of salt rising from the ground. At certain times of the year, nearby lakes overflow and a thin layer of water transforms the flats into a stunning reflection of the sky. This beautiful and otherworldly terrain serves as a lucrative extraction site for salt and lithium, the element responsible for powering laptops, smartphones, and electric cars. In addition to local workers who harvest these minerals, the landscape is home to the world's first salt hotel and populated by road-tripping tourists. The harsh beauty and desolateness of Salar de Uyuni can make for an incredible experience or a logistical nightmare. How to get there? Located at the crux of Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina, the logistics and length of your trip to Salar de Uyuni will depend where you're coming from. Tours originate from 3 main places. Uyuni, Bolivia, the most popular jumping-off point for salt flats tours. 10. The Great Blue Hole, Belize. It turns out that the world's biggest sinkhole in Belize is no stranger to plastic bottles and pollution. The discovery was made at the end of last year, when British entrepreneur and billionaire Richard Branson led a diving expedition into the Great Blue Hole and found plastic at the bottom of the giant abyss. Branson was part of the first ever submersible dive to the bottom of the Great Blue Hole, accompanied by Fabien Cousteau, who is grandson of French explorer Jacques Cousteau, and National Geographic explorer Erica Bergman. Newsweek reported that Branson said the discovery of plastic bottles in the giant sinkhole showed the great need to get rid of single-use plastic, adding that it had become the scourge of the ocean, according to one of his blogs recounting the trip. The Great Blue Hole, located just 100 kilometers off the coast of Belize, is almost 300 meters across and 125 meters deep. The massive underwater sinkhole was made famous when Jacques Cousteau explored it in 1971, declaring it one of the top 5 scuba diving sites in the world. It is part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. 9. The Silfra Rift, Iceland. Officially known as the Silfra Tectonic Fissure, or just Silfra for short, this freshwater rift between 2 continents is not only geologically intriguing, it also happens to be stunningly beautiful. The rift sits in the gap between the North American and Eurasian continental plates, where an imperfect seam allows explorers into the watery depths an opportunity to dive towards the center of the Earth. The clear waters of Ingvallavatn Lake in the Ingvalir National Park attract divers from around the globe to experience the unique feeling of diving between worlds, where visibility is often as good as 300 feet between lava rock cliffs. Even the waters in Silfra are unique. Since no rivers flow into Ingvallavatn Lake, the water actually gets slowly extruded through the porous tectonic rock beneath the water's surface. This process filters the water and not only accounts for the lake's incredible clarity but also makes the lake mostly safe to drink. Pushing water through stone is not very quick no matter how porous the rock, so it takes between 50 to 100 years for the liquid to become part of the lake. Each drop of water in Silfra is likely over a century old. 8. Dallol, Ethiopia. If you were alive in the 1980s, when Belinda Carlisle gleefully proclaimed that heaven is a place on earth, or if you watched the best hour of modern television on Netflix at any time in the past year, it might not come as a huge surprise to learn that hell, too, is a place on earth. Specifically, it's located in Dallol, Ethiopia, where the average daily temperature is 94 degrees Fahrenheit, making it the hottest place in the world. How hot is Dallol, Ethiopia? Dallol, Ethiopia is the hottest place on Earth based on year-round averages, which is to say that if you average the temperature of every place on Earth for 1 year, Dallol's average will be the highest. There are places in the world that are hotter at given moments, but Dallol is the hottest on average. Another thing that makes Dallol so hot, its high humidity, around 60%, and the noxious fumes that rise out of its Hades-looking sulfur pools notwithstanding, is the fact that it doesn't cool off at night. While many of the world's hotspots are located in deserts, where temperature extremes between day and night are just as dramatic as the extreme temperatures experienced during either, Dallol has an average low temperature of 87 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hotter than many places on Earth ever get. 7. The Marble Caves, Patagonia, Chile. Chile's Marble Caves is one of the most extraordinary places to visit in South America. The magnificent marble caves have formed over the last 6,000 plus years as the water melted from the nearby glaciers, filling up General Carrera Lake and washing up against these solid rocks, slowly carving out intricate caverns, columns, and tunnel systems. Over thousands of years, this mineral-rich glacier water also changed the color and shape of the marble cave formations to beautiful hues of blues, greens, blacks, and yellows. Instead of mining these unique marble rocks, the surrounding area protects them while permitting visitors to come and tour the marble caves. With colorful swirling patterns and turquoise blue water, marble caves attract visitors from all over the world, despite the remote location and difficulty in accessing them. Marble caves are located on General Carrera Lake in southern Chile. General Carrera Lake is the biggest lake in Chile and it spans across from Chile into Argentina. To all my Kababayan in Bicol, please support my channel by subscribing, liking and sharing. Mag Tanarabangan Kita, Mabuhay Bicolanos PH, Salamat Bicolanos Padangat ko kamo sa Maray. 6. Pamukkale, Turkey. Pamukkale is located in Turkey's inner Aegean region, and has a temperate climate for most of the year. This region is famed for its snow-white limestone that has been shaped, over millennia, by the calcium-rich springs that drip down the mountainside. The name literally means cotton castle in Turkish, and the ancient Greco-Roman city of Hierapolis was built on top of these white formations, and the remains of this city can be seen from the hills on the other side of the valley, in the town of Denizli, around 20 kilometers away. The area is also famous for its thermal pools, and has been drawing guests to its thermal springs for eons, becoming a natural tourist attraction for centuries. Pamukkale's lesser-known tourist attractions include Roman ruins and a local museum, but these are overshadowed by the white stalactites and the thermal pools, as most tourists come to see Pamukkale's natural attractions. Pamukkale is easily accessible, with routes available by car, bus, train, or airplane, and many tour packages offer day-long trips as guests travel between cities in Turkey, as Pamukkale is a fantastic weekend getaway, or a fun place to visit and stay overnight. From the Roman ruins in Hierapolis to Pamukkale's travertine structures, guests are invited to study the natural and man-made formations that are historically significant. 5. Kjeragbolten, Norway. High above Lysfjorden, the same fjord which Preikestolen overlooks, is a giant boulder called Kjeragbolten. This magnificent rock is wedged in a mountain crevasse 959 meters, 3,156 feet, above the fjord. Kjeragbolten, together with Preikestolen, Pulpit Rock, and Trolltunga, is one of the 3 most famous natural landmarks in Norway and one of the most popular hikes in the whole country, both for Norwegians and foreign tourists. Every year, many people flock to take their turn standing on this death-defying boulder. Although it might seem crazy, Carrickbolton is completely safe and there have been no tragedies so far. If you're a lover of heights and stunning mountain views, then Carrickbolton should be on your bucket list. Carrickbolton is found in the Carrig Mountain Plateau, which runs along the 42 kilometers, 26 miles southern side of Lysfjorden. It is a world-famous destination not only because of this unique boulder, but also for base jumpers who come in drones to jump off the steep cliffs. Hiking to Carrickbolton is a must-do for all nature lovers visiting Norway and can easily be combined with a trip to Preikestolen. If you have your own car, you can enjoy both popular tourist destinations in one day, but if you're relying on public transportation, it will be better to split it over 2 days. Sahara al-Bida, Egypt. The word Sahara means desert in Arabic, so when you hear the name Sahara el-Bida you could be forgiven that it means one thing: sand, sand and more sand. Yet the sight of Egypt's Sahara el-Bida belies the traditional way one imagines a desert. Are those icebergs on the horizon? In fact, these formations are made out of chalk rock, their shapes created by the wind and sand whistling through this isolated area, 45 miles from the nearest town of Farafra. Millions of years ago the White Desert was a seabed. Layers of rock were formed over time as marine fauna and vegetation died. The ocean dried up and the place became a savanna, home to herds or roaming elephants and giraffes. In fact, these formations are made out of chalk rock, their shapes created by the wind and sand whistling through this isolated area, 45 miles from the nearest town of Farafra. Millions of years ago the White Desert was a seabed. Layers of rock were formed over time as marine fauna and vegetation died. The ocean dried up and the place became a savanna, home to herds or roaming elephants and giraffes. Mendenhall Ice Caves, Alaska. There are scant few places where you can experience every stage of the water cycle at once. But there's magic in the Mendenhall Ice Caves, where water runs over rocks and under frozen bright blue ceilings inside a partially hollow glacier. The Mendenhall Glacier is a 12-mile-long glacier in the Mendenhall Valley, only 12 miles from downtown Juneau in southeast Alaska. The glacier originally had two names: Sitantagu Glacier behind the town, and Akawaxit Glacier behind the little lake. Inside the glacier are the stunning blue ice caves, accessible only to those willing to kayak to the edge of the ice and then climb over the glacier. Sadly, this Juneau Glacier is retreating increasingly fast as climate change warms the ocean. The Mendenhall Glacier has receded almost 2 miles since 1958, while previously it had receded only 0.5 miles since 1500. The ice caves are in part a function of this glacial melting. Images of the caves circulate the internet with such captions as otherworldly and surreal, but shrinking and fleeting could be used as well, as this glacier creates incredible ever-changing landscapes while we watch it melt away. 2. Socotra, Yemen. Nothing about Socotra is predictable and I love the constant surprises. The famous dragon's blood trees silhouetted on hillsides look like giant old-fashioned darning mushrooms. Seriously obese bottle trees in improbable human shapes are tactfully called desert roses, and ever-hungry Egyptian vultures with punk hairstyles swoop down to act as refuse collectors. Around the coast, springs of fresh water flow out between giant sand dunes. A natural swimming pool with 180-degree views perches on a clifftop. A gray patch on a tree trunk turns out to be a mass of 1,000 snails. Bold pink land crabs emerge to explore our toes as we cool our feet in a wadi stream. And in every direction and at every time of day, the island is stunningly, unbelievably beautiful. Its shapes, colors, sounds and unexpected sense of space blend into something I am longing to revisit, even in my mind. My friend Hillary Bratt, founder of Bratt Travel Guides, had wanted to go there for many years and planned to publish a brief 40-page guidebook. 1. Kawah Len Volcano, Indonesia. For several years Paris-based photographer Olivier Grunewald has been documenting the Kawah Ijen volcano in Indonesia, where dazzling, electric blue fire can often be seen streaming down the mountain at night. This blue glow, unusual for a volcano, isn't, of course, lava, as unfortunately can be read on many websites, Grunewald told National Geographic in an email about Kawaijin, a volcano on the island of Java. The glow is actually the light from the combustion of sulfuric gases, Grunewald explained. Those gases emerge from cracks in the volcano at high pressure and temperature, up to 1112 degrees Fahrenheit, 600 degrees Celsius. When they come in contact with the air, they ignite, sending flames up to 16 feet, 5 meters high. Some of the gases condense into liquid sulfur, which continues to burn as it flows down the slopes, said Grunewald, giving the feeling of lava. Most pH 2.0. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and hit the notification bell for more updates of my latest videos. Salamat. Mabuhay.